You're listening to the Jōrni Podcast. Breath is the one thing we carry from our first moment to our last, yet most of us never fully utilize it. Join me for part 2 of the Ascend series today. This episode contains adult subject matter, and some listeners may be triggered by this content. Listener discretion is advised. Hi, I'm Petra Brunbauer, and with decades of experience with sadness, pain, anxiety, and stress, I finally figured out how to leave all that behind. And this podcast shows you how to break free permanently so you can reclaim your sanity and find the self-esteem and energy to go after the life you desire. With real talk about mental health, holistic healing, and the tough journey of coming out the other end. This is the Jōrni Podcast. Welcome to our special Ascend series, episode 2. In the second part of the Ascend series, breath is presented as a direct path into presence and vitality. Each inhale and exhale has the power to calm the nervous system, shift awareness into the here and now, and reconnect us with life. Anaez, formerly Nate Zeleznick, is a globally recognized speaker, energy master, biometaphysics expert, and visionary healer. As the creator of the Integrated Ascension Method and co-founder of Ascended Living, Anaez bridges ancient Indonesian royal energy practices with modern neuroscience, biochemistry, and advanced frequency medicine, unlocking extraordinary levels of healing and human potential. Currently healing an inoperable brain tumor, which was reduced in size by 50% in just a few weeks, Anaez is using his own method, a fusion of breathwork, meditation, biohacking, supplementation, and the support of some of the world's most powerful biochemists and energy healers. Here is the second part of this extraordinary series, S for Source Through Breath, with Anaez. Hello and welcome back, everyone, to our second part of our very special Ascend series. And I'm here today with Anaez, formerly Nate Zeleznick, who will be sharing his Ascend series and also the second part of that, the letter S, today. So welcome, Anaez, back to our podcast. And thank you. I am so grateful that you're here again joining us today. I feel the series is turning into something transformative and really life-changing for listeners. So thank you for joining me again today and welcome back.
Petra, it's my honor and my pleasure. And hello to everyone out there who's listening right now. I'm looking forward to sharing this with you. And at the very end, I have a very special gift for everybody. So we'll want to make sure to please stay tuned all the way to the end. And during this class, S is for Source Through Breath in the Ascend series. And what I'll do is I will be leading a short guided breath type. Well, it's breath work, yes, but it's not like most people have ever done before. And then a deep meditation with a certain type of breath that will help to regulate and completely calm your nervous system in 2 minutes or less.
Wow, I look forward to it. And listeners, I believe that it might be very beneficial to grab a pair of headphones before we get started here today. Settle in, get your headphones ready, and Anaez, take it away and take this in whatever direction best starts us off for the letter S, or maybe also a little mini recap from last time's letter A for those listeners who weren't able to listen to that yet.
Beautiful. To understand why the Ascend series was created, it's important to understand why, not just where it came from, but why it's so important. Earlier this year, on March 3rd of 2025, after 26 years and over 38,000 hours of professional teaching, meditation instruction, meditation, personal practice, martial arts practice, breath work, all the things that I could to make myself as healthy as possible, I received quite a wake-up call. Now, for everybody out there, have you ever been knocked down so hard that you didn't think you'd be able to get back up. And you knew if you did, you could only do that as someone different. You could not keep being the same person, doing the same things, thinking the same way, and continue on from that point forward. Well, I definitely have. And that was numerous times I've gone through a death and rebirth in this lifetime. So I'm on Anaez version 7.0 at this point. But on March 3rd, 2025, I was diagnosed with an inoperable brain tumor right on my brainstem where they can't get to it. And it was pushing on my center for breath and breathing. Really, at any moment, ironically, a breathwork master who's traveled the globe and taught now up to over 10 million people has a tumor that's pushing on his center that might take away his ability to breathe. If that isn't the cosmic joker, I don't know what is. But I realized very quickly that this is for me. And I asked that question, how is this for me? And then I very quickly transitioned from how is it for me to how can I turn this into a formula that can help other people as well. I really didn't know how big an issue or how important this would be when I first found out because I hadn't done my research, but get a tumor on your brainstem, and all of a sudden I'm going down that rabbit hole as far as I can in every direction possible, medically, scientifically, energetically, supplement-wise, biohacking-wise, nutrition-wise, and many other things. And what I found is that the American Cancer Society says that 1 in 2 men and 1 in 3 women will receive a cancer diagnosis sometime in their life, if not more than one. Doing the math, not that that's my strongest suit, but I could do this math. That's over 200 million people just in the United States alone. That's pretty substantial. You want to talk about a group that is going to need every single possible ally they can have in this, I don't want to say a fight, but in this challenge, in this life challenge, this tissue issue. When I started on this path, I went down every single corridor that I could to try to find what was going to be the thing that would reverse this tumor holistically. I didn't want them to crack my head open, not that they could. If the surgeon said if they tried, it would kill me or leave me permanently disabled. Neither of those is really an option I'm going to even chance. So how can I remedy this in a natural and holistic way? There are all kinds of different, take apricot seeds, take walnut husk, coffee enemas. There's so many things online that a lot of people do their University of YouTube research, and they may sound like wonderful things, but it's important to understand that we're all individual people and we all have individual biology and we also have individual spirituality. When things manifest in the physical, they came from the quantum field somehow, some way, for some reason, for our growth, our learning. And for me, I went down that hole. Where did this come from? And for myself, can't speak for anybody else, but I found the realization that this tumor was actually caused by a lot of my unconscious resentments, the things that I had stuffed away in the dark recesses of my subconscious, either repressing them, suppressing them, consciously putting them away and sweeping it under the rug, overexpressing things, or distracting myself so I didn't face these things. So the shadow work really came into play as a big part. But coming back to ascend, that comes all down to the first letter A, awareness and mindset. So many people receive a difficult diagnosis or prognosis and immediately believe what the people in the white coats or the lab reports said, that you have 3 months to live. This is glioblastoma or melanoma or lymphoma or whatever oma it might be. And in the case of cancer, but there are other things as well. And they immediately go, oh no, I only have 3 months to live. Doc, please put the chemo in, put the radiation in. I want more than 3 months. And that's the way we're brought up and we're taught. We're really programmed that the people who have gone to medical school, and that's bless their heart, they're doing the best they can, are the ones who have all of the answers for our individual person. Now, here in America, it's very normal for people to go into the doctor's office and you get 15 minutes max. They weigh you, They look in your ears, they check to make sure your eyes dilate and contract. And they say, well, maybe it's this. Here's a prescription. And then they write you more prescriptions for the direct effects. I don't believe in side effects. If it affects you, it's a direct effect. Direct effect of these drugs, then people wind up taking 12 to 20 different medications to combat all these different things in the body. But nutrition, health, and medicine are not synonymous. Nutrition leads to health, but medical or medicine is not synonymous with being healthy. In America, doctors only take, I think, half of a semester or one semester of nutrition at all in all 8 years of their medical training. Things are changing, but awareness is so important because we, like Hippocrates said back in ancient Greece, let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. It all starts with what we put into our body. And for me, the first part was this awareness that food is not my friend, it's my fuel. And in this amazing F1 race car that we all get to drive around called a body, which is the most high performance, most intelligent, incredible meat suit, if you will, that we could possibly ask for. If we're putting sand and sugar in our gas tank, it's going to gum up our works. And we keep doing that over and over. For me, awareness was most important. So I dropped into awareness, and I was already on a carnivore diet, but I went on a very strict ketogenic diet, which is not a normal keto diet, but it's specifically designed by a master biochemist who I work with. And I'll say more about that in a moment and in a future episode, that starves the cancer of sugar because cancers love sugar. Also, I doubled down on all my breath work because cancers hate oxygen. They're very anaerobic. Along with these things, awareness really came down to what can I do right now that is going to make me better, not harm me. In the Ascend series, everything in your healing has to start with awareness and mindset. I know numerous people that have been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer that a decade on, they have no cancer left in their body. It's because they didn't listen and just follow blindly what the people who were talking to them about treatment options told them. Now, I'm not suggesting people don't undergo the treatment options if it sounds like a good idea. What I'm saying is that it's important to keep an open mind and realize that as much as your doctor may care for you, they're not you, and they don't love you as much as they would love themselves if they were in the same situation. If you are in that situation, you do love yourself as much as the person in that situation because you're the person. So do your research, become aware, and then really take the time to learn how to meditate and sit with yourself. Awareness is not just knowledge. Awareness is actually embodiment of that knowledge, action with that knowledge. But first, we need to start off with what knowledge? And right now, we live in an age of information overload. I mean, the average attention span is like 6 or 7 seconds. Why? Because we're bombarded with so many different things. For me, and for hopefully everybody out there who's facing a strong diagnosis, take a moment to just sit and be quiet. Nothing else matters if you're sick or you're dead. So the cat videos can wait. TikTok can wait. Everything else, unless your house is literally on fire, it can wait for you to actually step into awareness, ask the questions, feel into it. What does your body tell you? Follow your intuition. Do your research, yes, but you can't really solve a problem from the same level of consciousness that created it. It's important that we step out of that, step up from that, ascend in our consciousness and see what comes to us. That's awareness and mindset. That's why that's so important. But then we come to S, source through breath. In the Ascend series, we just followed the acronym ASCEND. S, number 2. With our breath, there are so many different types of breath work out there and so many people touting breath work, which is great. I mean, think about it. It's the first thing you do when you're born. It's the last thing you do as you change your address, I'll say, from this to the next location. And yet, during this time that we're here on the planet, we have between 22,000 to 29,000 breaths a day that we can use as our most powerful energetic engine to bring ourselves to peace, to focus, to embodiment, to presence right here, right now. We can use it to really hack the system, if you think about it that way. biohack, it's like the original biohack is breath work for thousands of years. Because we can affect the chemicals, we can affect the emotions, we can affect our mental state, our emotional state, spiritual state, physical state. We can really inform ourselves of what is happening at this exact moment, where other people take pills or they try other things, but breath is just boom, right here, right now. That's what we're going to dive into as far as source through breath, but it's not just breath work. It's tapping into the source, our universal source of who we are, why we're here, what we're here to do. How do we solve an issue? If we do have an issue, and if you don't have an issue, awesome. Chances are high that at some time in your life, you will have some kind of an issue, even if it's not you, somebody that you love. And maybe that stress of having somebody that you love who's got a tissue issue or a mental health issue that causes stress within you. Breath is the single fastest, most important way that we can step into, or I should say, step out of the hormones of stress, these looping thoughts, and the things that really take us away from peace, happiness, joy, and our universal connection.
Beautifully said. And thank you for recapping for our listeners as well. I feel like that is such an important part for them to connect to, is why the series came to be for you, this Ascend series, this extraordinary experience that you are taking us all through. And I am absolutely ready for the letter S and source through breath. And as you said, breath is what we always have with us. We have it no matter where we go. We don't need any special equipment, special instruction, and maybe some special techniques to really tap into it. But really, we have it. It is given to us at birth. So it sounds wonderful that we're going to be incorporating that today for our healing journey, for our well being. And I so look forward to learning how we're going to work with the breath in this new installment of the Ascend series. Are we ready for headphones to come on for this part, or where are we taking this, Anaez?
I think that headphones would be great right now. We could just have them on for a while. That's great because after the breath work, we're going to drop into a very special type of meditation that regulates your nervous system to complete balance. It's been shown in neuroscience that there is a perfect breath rhythm. And we're going to be doing about 3 or 4 minutes of perfect breath rhythm together. And I'll lead you through a little bit of a journey while we do that. But it's also important because we'll be using the scientific sounds of Dr. Jeffrey Thompson, who is the founder of the Neuroacoustic Institute in California, one of the pioneers of binaural beat and brainwave entrainment technology and nervous system regulation, that it is infinitely more beneficial and powerful if you do have your headphones. So make sure you have your headphones on. If you have water handy, definitely get a drink. We're not going to be hyperventilating or do anything like that. It's a different type of breath work. But since we do lose the majority of our water out through our breath, it's a part of breathing. Want to make sure that we're replacing that, keeping ourselves well hydrated. So if you need to pause, go ahead and do so. Get your headphones on and then come on back. Okay, to understand with source through breath, we just take a look a little bit at the history of this. When we look at the root of, say, chi, chi actually means breath. Prana means breath. Pneuma in ancient Greece means breath. Why is it that so many ancient cultures have looked at breath as the path to God and knowing thyself? Well, because, like I said, it's the first thing we do when we come into the world, and we have it available to us at all times. So for those of you who want to be more spiritually connected to your source, breath is the easiest, fastest, and honestly, most effective way to do so. What we're going to do on this source through breath is first, we're going to make sure that we can take better breaths than we ever have before. Now, I want you to think of your rib cage like a jar. Let's say your jar can hold 2 cups. Well, our lungs can expand to a gallon size, but if the rib cage, the actual container, can only hold 2 cups, we can only inhale 2 cups. The world record for breath holding was recently just broken, I believe, 2 weeks ago. 39 minutes. Yeah, some from Europe He held his breath for 39 minutes. Okay, that's more than most dolphins and whales can do. So it's pretty impressive. But he didn't start out that way. He started off with a normal lung size like everybody else. But through the exercises that we're going to do together, and I'll give very clear explanation for this, as well as many others, because he's a professional free diver. But I'll give you some basics that you can help to expand the intercostals, which are the muscles in between your ribs, as well as the fascia, so that you have more lung volume. Once we do that, you're able to breathe better. So if you have ever had asthma or a COPD or long COVID or emphysema or some kind of a breath issue, these exercises that you can do in 5 minutes or less, you do these every single morning and just watch, notice how much better you're able to breathe throughout the day and how much more calm you are. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to interlock our hands, our fingers, and we're going to place them above our head and stretch all the way up. Okay, so we're stretching our wrists, we're stretching the body. Okay, now we're going to bring the hands down so that they rest on the top of our head. Good. Now, we have to make sure that we're safe with our eyes because we will be pressurizing our circulatory system and our pulmonary system, meaning we're going to hold our breath with a full inhale. So with the hands down, resting on the top of the head, I'm going to have you just breathe in through your mouth all the way in. Now, dip a little bit more. Now, stretch your arms all the way up and stretch. Keep your eyes closed. Really feel your lungs expanding. We're going to hold it for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Expand. 3, 2, 1. Now exhale. Like a leaky tire. Yeah. Bring your hands back down to your head. Go ahead and breathe. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. Now let's do it again. We're going to inhale strong through the mouth all the way in. Now, sip a little bit more. Put a little bit more in there. Now stretch all the way up. Let your diaphragm come up and pushing upward to expand your lungs. Stretch hard, stretch high, eyes closed. Really good stretch. We have 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, stretching, 2, 1. Exhale like a leaky tire. Hands come down. Squeeze all your air out. Now squeeze it out and hold the breath out. Hold it out. Now slowly breathe in through the nose. Fully. Out through the mouth fully. Hands still on top of the head. Again, breathe in strong. Sip a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Block it off and stretch as high as you can. Push the diaphragm up and in. Really feel the ribs expanding, stretching upward. 10, 9, 8, 7, stretching. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. Hands come down. Squeeze it all the way out, all the way out, all the way out, all the way out. And slowly breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. Now we're going to do the same thing, but this time when we stretch up, we're going to stretch up, straight up, and then lean over to the left side. And we're going to stretch the right ribs, okay? Here we go. Breathe in strong. Sip a little more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Now stretch up and stretch over to the left and really feel the right ribs stretching. Stretch your arms out as high as you can. Keep your eyes closed. Stretching from the ribs, not from the hips. You don't want to fall over. We have 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back to the center. Exhale. Bring the hands down. All the way out. All the way out. Slowly breathe in. We're going to do this again. Breathe in through the nose. Out through the mouth. Here we go. Breathe in strong through the mouth. Sip. A little bit more. A little bit more. A little bit more. Good. Lock it off. Stretch up and over to the left side. Keep those eyes closed. Really get the good stretch on the right side of those ribs from your armpits down to the floating ribs. Good stretch. Hold 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, back to the center, hands on the head. Exhale. All the way out. Slowly breathe in through the nose, all the way out through the mouth, all the way in through the nose, and out through the mouth. Here we go. This time we're going to go to the other side. Bring it in. Breathe in strong. Sip more. Sip a little more. A little bit more. Now up and over to the other side. This time stretching to the right. Eyes closed. Stretch those ribs. Hold it. 8, 7, 6. Stretching farther. 3, 2, 1. Exhale back to the center. Exhale. Lock. Hold it out. Hold it out. Hold it out. Strong. Inhale. All the way up. And stretch it over. This time over to the right. Stretch the left ribs. Push the diaphragm up and in. Feel that stretch. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale back to the center. All the way out. All the way out. All the way out. And slowly breathe in. And relax. Bring your arms down. Just notice how your body feels as you breathe deeply in. Let the belly extend. Rises up to the chest, always belly, chest, and then from the top down, chest to belly. Now, as you listen and you're aware of the tones you're about to hear, we're going to slowly breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth, following the cello tone. Breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose, from the belly to the chest. Out from the top down. This is the perfect breath rhythm. Breathe in. Breathe out. Let any tension go from the shoulders, the neck, and the rest of the body. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. All the way out. Breathe in. Belly, chest. Out from the top down. Squeeze every bit of air out. In. Out. Relax deeper. In. Out. Feeling energy come into your body. Out. Let any tension, stress, or negativity go. In. Out. Halfway there. Breathe in. Out. In. Out. Continue. Follow the tones. In. Out. All the way in, all the way out. What comes up, let it go as you exhale. Breathe in energy from the belly to the chest. Exhale anything that comes into your awareness so that you are present. Very good. Still breathing slowly in through the nose, out through the mouth. Just notice how you feel. That was only 3 minutes of the perfect breath, but I'll have a very special gift for you at the end of this podcast. So make sure you stay here until the end to find out how you can get that. Now, as we breathe and we continue throughout our day in this nice, deep breath rhythm from belly to chest and then exhaling from the chest downward, realize that when you take a breath, you're breathing in more molecules of oxygen than there are grains of sand in the entire world every time you breathe a breath. When it comes down to needing focus, to needing to feel calm, especially if you have a difficult diagnosis or prognosis and you feel that tension happening in your body as you slowly breathe in through the nose, becoming here and now, not in the future, not in the past, but now. And as you exhale, just visualize, imagine, and feel wherever the tension is that you're holding in your body, it's just leaving right out through that part of your body. So if it's your back, it goes straight out your back. Your stomach goes straight out your stomach. You can also visualize it coming out your mouth, but it's easier just to let it go. And as you do this, after you take 5 minutes every morning to stretch your rib cage and make sure your jars are getting bigger, just notice how much more calm, more joyous, and more alive that you feel when you bring yourself to the present moment with your breath. That is the very first part of S, source through breath. Now, through the Ascended Living program, my flagship program, many of you didn't know this and many of you may not, but 26 years ago, I pioneered one of the most powerful breath work methods known from a royal family in Indonesia that had never been allowed to be learned by an outsider. And I became the first. And I've been sharing this globally with people on how to immediately find their calm, how to expand their lungs, but also how to improve and actually grow the energy of your body, your chi, through every single cell faster than anything I've ever seen. The source through breath goes much deeper down this rabbit hole to self-mastery and self-knowledge. So that's something that will give you the opportunity to lean into a little bit more in just a bit. How are you feeling, Petra?
Boy, there are so many things happening. I'm trying to keep track of them all. As we were taking that really strong breath in through the mouth when we were doing the stretches, my gums were tingling. I feel like there was oxygen going into places it doesn't usually go into. And I can feel the bottom of my ribs right down to sort of where they meet just above the hips there. And yeah, I can tell you, they stretched. So, wow. And I feel connected right now, so aware and aligned, even because I am looking at you. Your listeners can't see you, but I am looking at you. And it's almost like I'm looking at you in a different way now. The blues on the screen are just a little bit more bright and they're just a little bit more deep. So something has shifted as we were doing just this very simple breath work that you offered. So thank you. I'm still kind of placing all these little experiences, but thank you for that.
It is absolutely my honor and my pleasure. We all, at some point, I feel, especially as we step into adulthood, a lot of us feel they're very disconnected with our body or with our processes. I'm really glad that I don't have to think about every single hair growing or every single microbe or enzyme that is doing something in my body or every single muscle fiber firing. We could never keep up with that. And it's really amazing when people actually come back into themselves and they say, oh, wow, I'm home. I haven't felt this way maybe since I was a little kid or if ever. Breath is a very quick and simple way to do that. And it is absolutely my pleasure. And I love to help people even with the more advanced things that I teach as well, because this is a never ending story of self improvement and growth. There's no end to the improvement through my integrated ascension method and my ascended living program. There is no plateau. There really is no limit to this. The only limit is the ones that we put on ourselves to do it for 5 to 10 minutes a day or not. And if you don't, then you don't get that. But you only do it on the days you want to feel awesome. If you want to feel awesome, take 5 to 10 for yourself. And I have all kinds of different programs online. But the Ascended Living Program, this new flagship that is helping me reverse this brain tumor, which in a 5-week span, using these things that I teach in the Ascended Living Program, along with my cosmic co-pilot and one of the most brilliant biochemists on the planet, I've reduced my tumor size 50% in a space of 5 weeks in between scans. 5 weeks to take a rock solid tumor. It's like a marble dropped in pudding, basically, from 22 millimeters across to 10 millimeters across. So more than 50%. And if I can do it, everybody out there can do it too. And I'm so happy and grateful and blessed to have done all this research and all this really experimentation on myself to bring this to the people that need it, whether it's cancer or whether it's Alzheimer's or whether it's COPD or maybe it's a long COVID or a TBI. There are a lot of people with brain injuries that these different protocols have been shown in so many cases to either reverse completely or help substantially. Absolutely no harm whatsoever. So I'm just happy and grateful that I could be here, and I'm blessed and honored that you've had me on, Petra, and I look forward to much more as far as helping people or supporting them on their journey.
Yeah. And I look forward to continuing to share. I feel these are pieces that are so often missing in the healing journey. We talked about this last part in the A part as well, that we often don't even get all of the information to make informed choices about our health and our well-being. So you can see how simple this practice was. And yet I can feel that these pieces that we were stretching don't usually get to move in this way. So simple pieces, but with our more sedentary lifestyles or with us working a lot, these are things that don't get addressed in our bodies and in our breath on the day to day. So these are little pieces that we can, and I want to also say, will this work preventatively as well? I mean, I feel like we don't really have to wait until we get a really grave diagnosis to start implementing these techniques.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The Ascend framework, just briefly to let people know what this is, A is for awareness and mindset. S is for source through breath. C is for the center point reset, which my cosmic co-pilot Jemaya, a very seasoned professional shaman, has developed a technique to help people return the polarity, the actual north and south pole of their energy system back to its proper location. And people with 30 plus year addictions have walked away from it after a 30-minute session. It's that powerful. There's E for Eat to Thrive. And I keep track of everything. I have been on a very strict diet. It's not a diet. It's a wonderful, nutritious, beautiful, lovely, very cheap and inexpensive eating plan, but it actually addresses what my body needs. And I am now down 88 pounds since March 3rd. So in 6 months, I've released 88 pounds. I've gained about 15 pounds of muscle. But here's the coolest thing. Because of these things that I'm doing, I have a smart scale, and it tells me my biological age, like the visceral fat, the subcutaneous fat, all these different markers. And Petra, I'll tell you, when I started this journey on March 3rd, my biological age, even though my chronological age is 50, I just turned 50, it was 58 years old. This morning, I stepped on my scale. My biological age is 38 years old. So I have essentially reversed the clock by 20 years doing this. So people who are interested in living longer, this is a pretty cool plan too. So after E, we have N. N is for new frequency technologies. And I go very deep into the PPT V cell treatment by this biochemist that is a business partner of mine now because of what he's done reversing the brain tumor. I mean, we can't say that legally, of course, because of regulatory agencies, but I could tell you myself, the one thing that I did that did the most good and actually showed a 50% reduction on the MRI and PET scans is this specific laser stem cell treatment, which we'll cover in a couple episodes from now. And then D, the last one is decode your body with biohacking, understanding what's happening in your gut microbiome, What's happening in your blood? What's happening, like say a SMART scale is a great place to start. What's happening? What kind of fat do you have? Do you have visceral fat that's around your organs that causes all kinds of health problems? Or is it more subcutaneous fat, which is not nearly as harmful, but it adds weight to the scale, but it's not as harmful for you? There's so many things that we can do, and we'll get into that as well. All of these things, the ASCEND, whether you have a terminal diagnosis, whether you just have a health scare, whether you are an Olympic athlete, these are all things that you will benefit from. And that's my passion. My love is to share those with people. And I'm also, since I'm a certified body code practitioner, I do body code sessions with people. So when people have questions about what should I do, what we do is we ask your body. And through muscle testing, which is amazing. And I've done hundreds of thousands of muscle tests to become very potent and accurate with this. To ask your body what it needs, supplement wise, nutrition wise, exercise wise, sleep wise, other nutritional or lifestyle things that can help you. And don't do the things that you don't need to do. Do the things that you need to do. In the age of information, ignorance is a choice. And overwhelm is very commonplace because 5 doctors will tell you do this, 5 will tell you this, and 5 will tell you do something completely different. And then you've got the naturopathic world that say, don't even worry about it. Take ashwagandha, So asking your subconscious, your body, and being very precise. What does your system say it needs? That's something I also help people with as part of the Ascended Living framework.
Yeah. And this is a piece where I think we can get really into this decision paralysis is where do we even start with this multivitamin, this new exercise, weightlifting? Oh, but you have to run. No, HIIT is better. There's a million things, as you said, where it's hard to discern for ourselves in the unique body. What do we actually need and where do we start with that? So, thank you for sharing that. I feel like that gives our listeners a really good place to start. And then combining that with what you took us through today for the breath work, it's a really excellent place for them to start tuning into what their bodies might need. How do they feel different? And as you said, keep asking those questions about how is this for them? And I feel like this is something that everybody can start on. We don't need to wait until we actually have a health problem to be working on our longevity. I feel if we get older and we don't have the health to really enjoy it, what's the point? If we are just going to be bedridden and we can't enjoy it, what's the point? So better to start now, start working on that, give our bodies the best platform we can and the best health we can. So wonderful. And I want to thank you for really taking this upon yourself to share this, to create and pioneer and combine these technologies and approaches in the way that you have so that people can actually understand, I can start with this, I can do this too. And there's a lot of fear involved when you have a terminal diagnosis or another really serious or grave diagnosis. And this, I feel, can take away some of that fear and give people that path forward. So thank you so much for sharing that today. And thank you for taking the time to really take us through the full Ascend series and taking us through each of the letters where each has so much value and wisdom in each of those.
It is absolutely my honor, my pleasure. We're all kids walking each other home, like Ram Dass said. And it's my greatest gift and my honor to be able to help. If the people that want support would like a handhold as we walk through this together, that's why Ascended Living was created, is many people feel isolated and alone. They may have the best medical team in the world. They may have people all around them. They may have great donations to their GoFundMe campaign. But one of the greatest sports trainers in the world, his name is Scott Sonnen. He has had an interesting sign off on his email, and he would say, "We're all together in this alone," meaning our life. We come in alone, we're going to leave alone. And along the way, we get an opportunity to be together. And I just want everybody to know, if you have, say, a cancer diagnosis, or you know someone who is, or they had, say, a stroke, or they have had Alzheimer's, something serious, especially long COVID is a big one right now, because even people who weren't predisposed to illness are getting very sick from the mRNA situation. And detoxing is very important to get rid of the spike protein. And we have protocols for that as well. That realize you're not alone. You're not alone. There are so many other people that are A, willing to support you, B, going through something very similar to what you're going through, and C, people who are willing to help. I happen to be one of them. So I'd love to have a one-on-one conversation with any of the viewers out or listeners out there with my team and my co-founder, Jemiah, about how we can support you, how we can support your family, and what kind of handholding you need. Because our Ascended Living program there is nothing else like it. I'm a unicorn in what I do, pioneering what I've done and bringing it together with technology. Jemiah is a unicorn who has numerous certifications and created her method of helping people find that center immediately. And our biochemist is a unicorn in the fact that no one else in the world can do what he does with your intrinsic stem cells and focus them in different places the way he does it. It is truly mind-blowing. So to have all three of us together gives people, even if they've been told by their loved ones or people that know them or a doctor or whatever it is, that it's hopeless, give up, or this is all your options are, well, maybe we can have a conversation and see what else we can do to support you. Even if you go that route, great, awesome. But what other kind of support can we give you? That's what we're here to do.
Yeah, amazing. Before we wrap up Anaez today, I just wanted to circle back because you had mentioned a free gift for our listeners. And if you wanted to share a little bit about that, we'll make sure that we link up in the show notes to that as well so our listeners can find that.
Oh, wonderful. So I have a special gift for everybody who's listening right now. And it is a audio track of that perfect breath rhythm that we went through earlier. So that way you can just have me downloaded on your phone, push play anytime you want to find that very deep calm for your nervous system and that centered thought, or actually, I should say centered awareness. You just push play. So when you reach out, and we'll have a link for you to be able to go to the Ascended Living site. That way you can go ahead and download that for yourself and have that anytime you like.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that generous gift. I feel like that was such a transformative moment when you took us through the breath work. I'm sure our listeners are going to love this gift. And as Anaez said, if you want to have an awesome day, make sure you do this every day so that you are getting the consistency of this practice in your life. Thank you so very much for offering that. And as I said, we will link to that in the show notes so our listeners can easily find that and start using that in their own lives for their well being. And as we wrap up for the letter S, we are going to dive into the letter C in our next part. And you want to give us a little, just maybe the words that go with the letter C so that our listeners can get excited for tuning in for our next part.
C is for center point reset. And what that is, it's called the assemblage point by a lot of shamanic practitioners, as well as a lot of chiropractors use this as well. If you could just imagine that the Earth has an electromagnetic field around it, it goes in and out of the South and the North Pole. Don't quote me exactly on that, but it creates a torus field around the Earth that protects us from cosmic and solar radiation. And that's why we have to have an electromagnetic field around the Earth or we would all just be crispy. Well, our bodies also have an electromagnetic field. Now, this is not the nadis, it's not the chakras, it's not the meridians, it's not the dantian. This is something different. This is the actual biomagnetic field that actually goes into every single one of our organs, all of our cells. But just imagine if you had the poles of the Earth and they just shifted 30 degrees. What would happen? We'd have earthquakes, tsunamis. We'd have all the weather patterns would change. I mean, it would be Armageddon. Now, just imagine that the center point, the poles of your body have been out of alignment, maybe your whole life. And what might that feel like if all of a sudden everything was fully aligned, right in the center of your chest, the energy emanating and coming back in on itself, and you finally truly felt at home? in your body. Most people think they're at home and they spend years of meditation sitting with gurus, etc. And I had done that for over 38,000 hours. And then my partner, Jemiah, in a half an hour, put my center point back into place where it was supposed to be the whole time. And even with all the things I'd done, my center point was still out of whack. And when she put it back into place, it was like a palpable pop, and I'm like, oh my God, this is what it feels like to actually be home in my body. Oh my God. It was that much of a revelation for me after everything that I've done, all the people I've worked with. This was absolutely life-changing. And it was super simple and easy, and she can even do it virtually. So tune in for C, for Center Point Reset, to find out how you could have a conversation about your center point and what that might do for you in your life.
Amazing, and I look forward to it. And listeners, stay tuned. We will be back in our next part of the Ascend special series with Anaez, who will take us through the letter C next time. And we are wrapping up the letter S today, which was source through breath. And if you haven't listened to the first part, the A, yet, I highly recommend you go back and do that so that you get the full story and the full background and everything that Anaez is sharing with us. And Anaez, thank you again for being here today and spending this time with us and taking us through this extraordinary series that you've put together. And listeners, I will welcome you back next time. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you for being here, everyone. And take care, Anaez. I will see you for the next letter. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to listen in. If you enjoy the Jōrni Podcast, please support us by subscribing, sharing on social media, and leaving us a review. We appreciate you. And you can find more of The Jōrni on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and our website, thejorni.com. Sending you love and courage, and see you next time.